Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I said welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Port Hueneme, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Good Sunday evening.
Good evening, sir.
The evening podcasts are pretty off the rails, I say.
Yeah, it's always better.
Why? Well, you're saying better.
Yeah, well, I guess better depending on how you look at it. I mean, I would say this time of year, it's perfect because it's a little bit more off the rails. We're a little bit, the other day I was the longest day of fucking work, which is something I haven't done in at least a decade. So it's just I'm just
So you don't consider dirty sports work?
I mean, not work for sure.
That means work. I mean, it's time, it's energy.
Yeah.
It's effort.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know that this is a different kind of work because I'm drinking heavily again. And so there's the delusional, and I don't want to say delusional, but it's the end of the day, you're kind of off your fucking, this time of year, what is there to talk about? Hock to WNBA.
I like how you pronounce that, by the way.
Hock to.
I'm a Hock Tui. I just say Hock Tui.
Hock Tui? What do you
Yeah, that's how I say it. I can't stop saying it. I'm gonna get thrown out of my own house if I won't shut up. If I won't, I literally cannot stop just saying Hock Tui. I was trying to get my daughter to say it, and I was getting reprimanded.
My buddy Tony called me earlier, and he's like, "Oh, dude, we need to make T-shirts that just say Hock and then have Tua's face on them for selling at Jets games." I was like, "Oh, you like that?" I said that in Dirty Sports. He's like, "Oh, did you say that?" I was like, "Yeah, bro, you're not the only person that fucking thought."
Also, dude, has he been on the internet?
I know.
Already been
No, he's not. He's a proper 45-year-old man.
A million memes.
Yeah.
A million. There's so many.
I said the other day to somebody, I go, because the TikTok to Instagram thing is 2 months. I was like, yo, people on Instagram's minds is going to be blown 2 months from now when Hock Tua arrives.
That's hilarious. You think it's that far behind? No, I've seen some good Instagram stuff.
Yeah, but there's certainly a delay. And Twitter's the bridge these days.
Oh, by the way, we have a game 7.
Is that happening right now?
Stanley Cup final tomorrow.
Oh, okay, cool. Are we getting Ryan on?
Ryan, where you at, man?
I guess you can't come on tonight. I was like, oh, tomorrow's Monday. We should have him on Monday's podcast. I'm like, oh, we're doing Monday's podcast. I'm telling you, man, my brain is mush. I'm just a mush-brained old man these days.
Okay, yeah. I'm looking at my DMs from him. Nothing going on. Now, Clyde, if you were watching this now, by any chance, just DM me, dude. I'll have my phone open.
You don't have Clat's text? You don't have his phone number?
I don't.
Wow.
Should I?
We do everything through the internet these days. I love it.
No, I mean we could. He's also Canadian. I don't know what the is there a fee from Canada to US?
No, not anymore.
There's not.
No. I don't think so. What, to call the U.S. or whatever? No. I think there's probably a fee if you're in Canada with your phone. But for him, no. He could just call wherever he wants.
I didn't know. I didn't know what the deal was. But yeah, we'll we make it work. We always make it work.
That would be a pretty epic. I mean, obviously we'll have to get Ryan to weigh in. We haven't, neither of us. I'm going to speak for you. Neither of us have been like keeping up with the series in terms of like play to play, let alone
Was it
game.
3-1 though?
It was 3-1. It was 3-1. I don't know what Connor McDavid has done in these comeback games, but I'm assuming a lot. So, maybe his LeBron James moment. The 3-1 comeback, best player in the world, 3-1 comeback. Was there a guy who took out his skate and tried to cut another guy's throat with it and then got put in the penalty box for 5 minutes? And that's how Edmonton extended the series. And then all of their players and fans for the next 25 years will be like, but if you didn't get ejected for trying to murder a dude.
I thought you were going to do something with stat padding here.
No, we got to talk about that, though. I mean, I know we talked about it originally, but this is just.
So we talked about it months ago.
Mets win, by the way. Grimace streak. They're still grimacing. Now I'm going to shut the TV off.
You know what's funny, guys? I have no clue what I was talking about. Like, literally, I don't have the first idea. When you said grimace,
you're unbelievable. Like, you didn't know about Huck too until I told you about it.
I was thinking if you're talking about grimace, like McDonald's grimace.
Yeah, grimace like McDonald's grimace. So the Mets, I don't know if you know this, Andy, but we talked about this on the show a couple weeks ago. I was like, I'm glad the Mets are shit. At least
I know they've been playing well. I knew that.
Yeah, they went on a 7-game winning streak that started with Grimace throwing out the first pitch. Grimace is the new Joe Prano. Grimace, Joe Prano, pointing Spider-Man meme. Grimace threw out the first pitch, and the Mets went on a 7-game winning streak and are like,
Well, they're in the wild card hunt.
10-2 or something like that since Grimace threw out the first pitch.
Grimace was, Grimace took over McDonald's Twitter last year too. I don't know if you know that.
Okay.
They had some funny things going on with the Grimace promos. Grimace underrated in the mascot world.
Such a wild take, but I mean, in the fast food mascot world, or just mascots in general,
he's underrated. He's underrated. Yeah, everyone talks about Hamburglar. What about Grimace? This big old purple dude.
I mean, it was pre Andy Ruther on TikTok when the whole Grimace shake was happening, and people were like, Did you see any of that? Like,
I know all about it.
The dying Grimace shake.
I know all about it. It was brilliant. It was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, he threw out a first pitch for the Mets, and it's totally changed their season.
Hold on, though. Grimace, you don't think he's underrated? He's a completely underrated fast food mascot.
I mean, first of all, the McDonald's mascot game. There's so many mascots.
Grimace is greater than Ronald.
Oh yeah, Ronald's a pedophile.
Yeah, 100%.
Ronald is a pedophile. I mean, as far as the McDonald's mascots go, Ronald's the only one that's really suspect. You got Birdie. You got, the Hamburglar. You go on Grimace greater than Hamburglar? This guy goes full fucking Zorro mask just to steal hamburgers.
I'm just saying, Grimace. Who wouldn't want to chill with Grimace? I'm just picturing me, Grimace, watching some movie, just smoking a big old bong. Grimace is just like,
yo, if I took bong hits and I looked over and Grimace was next to me, I don't know if I could handle it. I'm just like, what are you again? Like, Ronald's a clown and Birdie's a bird and Hamburger's just a dude and a thing, and you're just like a purple blob that relates to nothing that they sell.
That's what makes him so great and underrated.
Like, many years ago,
Grimace is Bill Walton.
All the kids, they hated the pickles. They threw them all in the garbage and they rotted. I'm just a rotting blob of McDonald's pickles.
But by the way, McDonald's coming up with multiple mascots for the same brand is pretty innovative.
Yes, because they could sell just all their collector's items. They could do like 10 different versions of them.
But there's not that many fast food mascots out there anyway. You know, Burger King, you got the King, and he's like stopped doing like. I think he got arrested.
Yeah, I could just see Grimace eating the fucking Taco Bell dog, no chewing, just like straight up swallows it like a goddamn.
Oh yeah,
like a boa. No, I guess a boa is fucking strangle things like a python.
Anaconda.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, great movie by the way with Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah,
John Voight, Ice Cube. I think they did an Anaconda too. Guess what it was about? My dick. You know, it's funny. DirtBall's like, Ruther was stoned. I'm not stoned. I'm not. Sometimes people are like,
it's just late night pod.
It's just late night. The pod is lit, son.
Anyway, we got to go back to the Tom Haberstra.
Oh, yeah. How's it pronounced?
I think it's Haberstra.
It's Tom Haberstra?
It's not. Is it Haberstrom? I don't think so. I think it's an H.
Oh, yeah. I misread it. I thought it was Haberstra. It's Haberstra.
Yeah.
Like bro, but Haberstra.
Yeah. Haberstra. What's up? So we talked about this a couple months ago.
And he was on the thing we played from the podcast.
Is that who was on that?
Yeah, he was.
I remember Pablo Torres was on, and then
it was Pablo Torres' podcast.
Right. Yep. And it was Tom who was on. He was the guest.
Pretty sure. At least there's at least one video of him being on.
And then there's all this, hearsay, and we looked at this and we looked at that, but now the research has been done, not just about Michael Jordan's stats, but on all the other players' stats in that season, many other players since, home and road splits, how they've been changed, defensive player of the year. This is, I don't give a fuck. Dude, here's the thing. I don't give a fuck if you think Jordan is the GOAT and this doesn't change your mind and whatever. This is fucking unbelievably psychotically insecure. This is borderline the most psychotically insecure moment an athlete has ever had.
So if you read it's a long piece. And
this is the equivalent of this is like Jerry Rice cutting the brakes on Randy Moss's car in the 4th year of his career. Like that's like the equivalent. It's like, oh, this guy might.
So the headline of the piece, which again is making its rounds on the internet, it came out 3 days ago. A closer look at, again, this is on Yahoo. A closer look at Michael Jordan's 1988 Defensive Player of the Year award raises questions about its validity. Has LeBron James been chasing a ghost? And it's a long breakdown of the stat padding and basically
not even stat padding, stat cheating. He didn't pad his stats by like staying in the game and getting a couple extra steals in blowouts. He likely, by the way, essentially bribed the United Center.
Why are you thinking he bribed?
Well, this guy's just doing it because he loves Michael Jordan?
What is his team?
Right. So he didn't inflate Scottie Pippen's stats or Horace Grant's stats. In fact, in the article, it says he took stats away from Horace Grant.
So the storyline is that Jordan was mad about Michael Cooper winning Defensive Player of the Year.
Because Michael Cooper was locking down guys. Michael Cooper, essentially the NBA version of Darrelle Revis, where, You just don't get the ball if Michael Cooper is guarding you. And Michael Jordan is the equivalent of fucking Tavon Diggs, taking a lot of chances, getting burned a lot, but getting a lot of steals. And he's like, I should be defensive player of the year. And it's like, you're not locking down dudes.
So according to this article, in the previous season, which would be 86-87, it says Jordan was incensed that coaches left him off the all-defensive team, even though Jordan became the first player in NBA history to register at least 200 steals and 100 blocks in the same season.
Even though those stats are now in question. So he's incensed that he was probably bribing somebody to inflate his stats. And then he was like, they don't want to give me it. And I'm not only I have great stats, I'm like, I have even greater stats because I'm bribing our fucking scoring guy. I'm taking this to the next level.
So we have a direct quote from Jordan. I guess Sports Illustrated at the time did a huge 18-page piece on MJ. He was completing his third year. And we have this quote from Jordan saying, Michael Cooper is great at ball denial, but check his other stats. So Jordan is instantly going for the stats. The league gives defensive awards on reputation. It just teased me off. So Jordan is on record saying how he was pissed, and it has to do with the stats. So basically, then the next year, it's pretty wild. Again, if you go down, this is a long article, but it's well worth the read. Jordan's home versus away blocks and steals it was like two times as many at home.
Which, the article also goes to talk about how, like, yeah, this is kind of fairly common.
Sure.
Especially in that era, because there's no computers, there's nobody watching games, there's no one watching replays, there's no rewind at home, there's no whatever. So the scorekeepers knew what they were doing. But also the gap between Michael Jordan's home and away, the differential is the biggest in the league.
Yeah, so it's the biggest ever. So
the biggest in the league then or ever.
So I'm looking at it right now.
Specifically the year he wins Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, so basically what he does in this article is he lists the top 10 percentage difference in home versus away stats, defensive stats. Michael Jordan's difference was 182%. The next is Mark Eaton, which was the next year, 159%. And then we have a few 153%. But
I'm going to go shut. My dog also hates Michael Jordan. I'm going to go shut the window.
All good. Yeah. So it's basically, if you look at this article, he lays it out very methodically. It's like he's presenting something in court. I'd argue it's coming from that angle of it's facts only, which I like. And we don't even have video footage to this day. So here's my thing on all this. At the end of the day, it doesn't change my opinion of Michael Jordan. It doesn't change my opinion that he was a great defender. But it's definitely petty. And let's not forget, I read Scott.
Can I add something? Can I do a side note on that? If we're going that Michael Jordan is getting, I mean, statistically, as far as blocks go, I mean, what did he average for his career? One a game? 1.5 a game?
I'm not sure.
So let's do the block. We're cutting his steals in half. We're cutting his blocks in half and basically down to what? Under 1?
No, it'd be around 1.
He averaged 2 blocks a game in the NBA
in this stat padded season.
Right.
Is that what you're asking? What are you asking?
I'm talking about career stats.
I'll pull it up.
I got it. Michael Jordan career stats.
I know this season it was like everything times 2.
Right. So hear me out. Michael Jordan averaged 0.8 blocks a game
in his career.
In his career. So you don't cut it in half, you cut it in a third, right? You take a third out because half of his half. Right? So if you take a third out, we're now down to averaging half a block a game. And, regular steal, like you're okay, he gets a lot of steals. He doesn't guard the best player on the other team essentially at any single point of his career after Scottie Pippen arrives. And we take his steals number down and we take his blocks down to maybe a half a game. And we're sure he's an elite defender. If you're a guy who takes chances a bunch because you have the best wing defender, one of the top wing defenders all time on your team, and we reduce your steals and we reduce your blocks down to 0.5, we're sure you're an elite defender? It doesn't change our opinion at all. Like, because here's the thing about Michael Jordan, elite defender thing, is defensive player of the year and the statistics factor in heavily to that because for the majority of his career, he has one of the great wing defenders of all time on his team. So you go, okay, cool. He didn't have to guard the other team's best player, but look at his stats. He's still averaging a ton of steals. He's still averaging a ton of blocks for a guard. And he has a defensive player of the year before Scottie Pippen really is on the scene. So we're sure he's an elite defender if you take those numbers down and you take defensive player of the year away. Good defender. Good defender.
Well, let's not forget what Scottie Pippen said in his book, Unguarded, which I read, and I have the quote here. So according to Scottie Pippen himself, the Bulls scorekeeper, Bob Rosenberg, fabricated his stats. And this is a direct quote from the book. Say I deflected the ball and tapped it over to MJ. I should get the credit with the steal, right? Nope. More often than not, that steal went into his column in the stat sheet, and I could do nothing about it. One night, a scorekeeper came into the locker room to hand the stats to Phil Jackson. I couldn't believe the look the guy gave Michael. See, MJ, we take care of you.
Andy, we just talked about it last episode, and we talked about re-releasing it again. 40 shots the night Kobe Bryant played his final game. Not only did I survive, I walked home. I went to a chick's house. It is a crown jewel in the Joe Prano, come at me, bro, I can drink championship belt. I don't think anybody who knows me historically throughout my life would say Joe Prano, not a pretty good drinker. But if it was revealed today that I actually did 19 shots that day, you're telling me it doesn't affect my legacy? Just today, we tell the Dirty Sports listeners, Andy Ruther lied. It was 19 shots. That doesn't affect my legacy? Also, if it came out that Luke, who was there, actually took 40 shots.
No, I feel you, man. I mean, we know.
Good defender. You can't, like, he's not Luka. He's not Steve Nash.
It's about legacy, yo.
This idea that he's an elite.
It's about legacy, yo.
Yeah. We take away a third of his stats and a Defensive Player of the Year award, which this article essentially says his Defensive Player of the Year award is gone. I mean, the guy who was second in steals that year was like 15 steals behind or whatever.
So here's my thing.
Half of Michael Jordan's steals that year are gone.
So here's my thing on this. And people will say, oh, you guys, why are you bringing it up? It's 25 years later. Why is Scottie Pippen bringing it up? Well, first of all, that's a shit response for anybody. So the notion that we're not going to bring this up, I don't care if it's Jordan, I don't care if it's anybody. Dude, if stats are whack, stats are whack. And I'll counter it with this. I guarantee you the same person or a lot of the same people who are saying, oh, it's 25 years ago, who fucking cares, and this and that, are the same people who are like, Bond should never be in the Hall of Fame because he did steroids.
Yep. But the other thing about this is not every single person in the league prior to Michael Jordan doing this was bribing their stat guy to change their stats. He's the Jose Canseco. If you're making a steroids claim, he's Jose Canseco. He showed up and was like, listen, if you read this article, it's like, yeah, sometimes the home team, when in doubt. Yeah, that happens in baseball too.
It happens everywhere. Of course the home team's going to cook the books.
But we're talking about this article lays out pretty blatantly that it was upon Michael Jordan's direction.
Yeah.
That he is a part of this process and that he likely did it so as to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. And again,
the Defensive Player of the Year, Michael Jordan's Defensive Player of the Year is fraudulent. Yeah. He shouldn't have it. The end.
And again, the notion of like, oh, they're just out to get him. Like, but why? Here's my thing.
But just like they were out to get Tom Brady.
Yeah.
They're out to get the best player in football because dynasties don't pay the bills. But now they're also not out to get Patrick Mahomes. Now they're for Patrick Mahomes. They're out to sometimes the rules are they I don't know, Andy. I don't get it.
Here's why this matters. Jordan was smart. He is smart. He's a smart dude. He was smart enough to know, and that still holds up, that like none of the greats, LeBron, Kareem, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, none of these guys have Defensive Player of the Year awards as well. Like, that's where Michael Jordan stands out one of one. He's got all the offensive stuff, all the championship stuff, all the team awards, and the Defensive Player of the Year. Nobody has that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it matters. It does.
Yeah. And don't forget when he played point guard for a couple games, Andy. Don't forget when he played. Oh, LeBron's not a better passer than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan played point guard for 8 games. And he averaged 14 assists in those games. Fraudulent. Did not happen. Did not occur. All of that shit is bullshit. Blocks, steals, assists. At this point, all of that shit for Michael Jordan's entire career at home is in question, whether you like it or not.
Well, here's what else is interesting. There's no denying Michael Jordan's importance for the league in the history, right? So let me put it this way. If we think the league told Michael Jordan to take a year off to fake play baseball, cosplay baseball, hey, Michael, let's go cosplay baseball. Your gambling's out of control. Your father was just murdered. There's a lot of heat right now with your gambling problems. So you take the year off. If you believe that, or if you think there's a chance that the league was involved, why would the league not also be involved in this? Because Michael Jordan is the bridge to the modern day NBA. He really is. The globalized game, which also happened with the 92 Olympics in Barcelona and the Dream Team and all that. The league doesn't need one guy nowadays. LeBron, for as great as LeBron was.
Not only does the league not need one guy these days, and this is where we get into the whole fucking thing that we've talked about. NBA go woke, go broke, that fucking literally mouth breathers say, is the NBA doesn't need the United States of America these days.
Yeah.
You're if like you if you are out there claiming the NBA isn't popular because you look at the ratings for a ABC game, you are doing the equivalent of being like, my mom doesn't know who Lionel Messi is, so he's not famous. It's the exact equivalent of that. It's like the world is way bigger than what is happening in our bubble. The NBA is a global game, and it is a global game because of David Stern, Michael Jordan, and Nike.
For sure. And the game is not what it is today without Michael Jordan. There's no denying that. And that's my point.
No denying it.
Look, like I say this all the time. Both things can exist. I say that phrase all the time because people, I feel, don't ever view it from that standpoint. Both things can exist. Michael Jordan is arguably the best player of all time. Now, to me, he's number 2. To you, he's number 2. Also, the league could have pushed all these things to benefit them wisely. Both can exist.
Michael Jordan is responsible from bridging the NBA out of the dark ages to Bird and Magic and a television, machine to a global game, and simultaneously rigged his stats, rigged them, actively fucking rigged his stats for his legacy, produced his own documentary for his legacy, maybe retired for his legacy on multiple occasions.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's smart.
Yeah. So actively was like from day one thinking about his place in history and at times cheating to solidify that place.
And again, anybody who says, "Oh, here you fucking idiots go again," guys, we're talking about cheating. You'd want to know. I'd want to know if somebody, no matter the sport, had the books cooked for an entire season, half his game, 41 games.
Let me ask you something, Andy.
41 games.
You telling me it wouldn't be a top 5 scandalous moment in history of sports if it came out today that Cal Ripken has a twin brother that played half those games? They'd be like, "Oh, so you're a liar. You lied.
And
those aren't real. That's not real."
And you know why no one's talking about this? Because of the money. No major. It's the same way nobody's talking about hot dog money. Because there's billions of dollars behind this. It's the truth. The Jordan brand, the Nike brand, like we just said, everything he did for the NBA to globalize this sport.
But you know what's amazing?
No one on ESPN is going to be talking about this. No one.
You know what's amazing about it too, though? Think about the things that LeBron haters say about LeBron. You notice he always reading the first page of a book?
That is pretty.
You notice how he always makes a fucking thing? Dude, can you imagine, like, can we just place on levels what is more psychotically lying? Holding a book to pretend that you're reading it, or sending duffel bags full of cash to Rosie Rosenberg's fucking Chicago hovel so that he changes the score of a game in your favor? What are we talking about here? They're like, what a fucking loser. He didn't read that book. How about the book that Michael Jordan reads wasn't even a book? It was a hollowed out book, like something out of a Bond film that had $10,000 in cash to it. And he was giving out free books to home scorekeepers around the league.
And here's my thing. Again, you have a corroboration with Scottie Pippen. like an anecdotal firsthand account. What does Scotty have to gain? And now some people say, okay, Ruther, that's naive. He can sell more books. He can monetize this. Sure, I won't disagree with that. But again, Scotty knows he only won 6 titles when he had.
First of all, like at this point, the Scottie Pippen thing, Scottie Pippen writing in his book is like, it's not even up for discussion. There's a multi-thousand word article with statistical evidence backing up his claims. The idea that Scottie Pippen made stuff up for clout is over. It's over. That's like somebody saying like, this guy raped my sister, and you're like, you're saying it for clout. You're saying it because you want to attack this guy, and then DNA evidence of him is found on like your sister. Like, there is a NBA writer that did the research, watched the video, showed the statistics. Michael Jordan's Defensive Player of the Year award is fraudulent. The end. Not up for discussion. Fraudulent Defensive Player of the Year award.
And again, I don't really give a shit. Like as a fan of Jordan, because obviously I'm still a big fan of Jordan's game, and like he's literally what got me into the NBA. It doesn't matter, and that's what I find. That is what I find interesting. I would not view Michael Jordan any less if he never won a Defensive Player of the Year award.
Yeah,
but he was very insecure, or also again smart, and realized this is something I'm going to have that other guys are not going to have. And we all know it is brought up. Like when people want to bring up the accolades or people who never, again, Joe and I talk about this all the time. The guys who never were alive to watch Jordan or were too young, unlike us who actually watched him, are going to throw that stat in there. And Jordan was smart to know that.
This doesn't change my opinion of Michael Jordan, because like my evaluation of Michael Jordan has never been based on statistics at all. It's always been on what I saw, and it's always been on what I saw as compared to LeBron James in what I saw. The way this affects, also, it doesn't affect my opinion of Michael Jordan, because I already knew Michael Jordan was like this and was telling everybody that Michael Jordan was like this. But what it should affect is the people who say, yeah, LeBron is a great player. Like, we got to get Tug Coker. This is the third time in like weeks I'm saying we got to get Tug Coker. Remember Tug being like, one day I will come on after everything's cleared and talk about Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. And he would always say, it's like, big thing about LeBron, I don't like the way LeBron positions himself. I don't like the stuff he's doing behind the scenes with Mav to like do this with his career. Do that. Turns out Michael Jordan is doing it a million times. If LeBron James is a murderer, Michael Jordan is Jack the Ripper. This is a multi-decade campaign to fraudulently build a legacy. Everything that you want to that people want to criticize about LeBron James, Michael Jordan did literally infinitely worse.
And I just think a lot of times people are too scared to speak out. That's why these things sometimes take years.
And then it comes a little bit here and a little bit there, a little bit, and then all of a sudden the whole story comes together. Scottie Pippen's just saying that for clout. That scorekeeper. Yeah, he's just telling you what all the scorekeepers did.
Yeah.
And then people start piecing stuff together, and then somebody goes, well, let's just like run the numbers.
Well, it's the same way. It's the equivalent of what I think is happening now with basically people are like, I don't trust the government because now we have technology and you know what I'm saying? Like it's I think it's a very similar kind of through line of, wait, this is kind of bullshit. And then more people start saying, I don't fucking trust you. And then it's the same thing. Dude, until there was technology, you like. I mean, we talked about last episode. What was the joke? What were we saying? We were talking about like before Google and
Yeah, I swear to Google.
I swear it's like we all knew people growing up who just lie. Like I swear.
Yeah.
And it's people are they're gonna take this one to the grave though, denying it. And again, to me, there's nothing worse than saying, "Oh, it's not that big of a deal. Why do you care?" Well, dude, because they're it's cheating and they're lying and they're bullshit stats. I
Cheating is actually, I'll say this. Cheating is I'd rather you cheat than do this, because cheating has an end game. I want to win. I'm going to cheat to win. This doesn't affect winning or losing in any way, shape, or form. This doesn't cheat. This Jose Canseco cheated to be good. Barry Bonds cheated to catch the other guys who were cheating as well. A lot of guys took steroids to go into the league. A lot of guys did this. Cheating has a purpose. This is just for accolades. You're lying just to look better, not to actually be better. Like when you watched the game, you didn't see the steal that they marked him for. So it's like you don't actually get, like, Bonds hit the home run.
Yeah.
He cheated for the home run. If you go to the game, you didn't see Michael Jordan's 6 steals. It didn't happen. It never happened. He is doing it just so the perception of him is better.
Well, I found something. Again, this is a long article. I don't know where exactly it is in the article, but I found something very interesting. That there's the Michael Jordan 10 steal game. I mean, this is fascinating. This is on the NBA's official YouTube page. When Michael Jordan got 10 steals in one game. And it's a 4-minute highlight reel that shows the game. It was against New Jersey Nets at the time. Again, 87-88 season. But even in the article, he makes a good point. Why is the NBA official YouTube page not showing all 10 steals? Dude, like, come on. So the NBA is showing, they're literally highlighting. I'm going to pull it up here. Like, we don't have to watch it, but like, I'm just going to click on it to see what happens. The NBA.
I'm surprised the NBA didn't show like the same one from different angles or something.
The NBA, literally the title of this video, Michael Jordan got 10 steals in one game. Only shows 6 steals. That's bizarre. You guys can't show the other 4.
So when this is the amazing thing, right? So there is a guy. Okay. There is a Michael Jordan's 10 steal game, right? As it happened. And then you are tasked. You work at the NBA. You work in NBA Digital. And you're like, let's make a highlight of Michael Jordan's 10 steal game. So then you're an editor and you go and you're like, he only had 6 steals in the game. Like, I went through the whole game. He only had 6 steals. Like, I can't show anything else because he only had 6. And then the NBA goes, put it out that way. How about just don't put it out? How about just like let it be a record book? Yeah. Like, that's where the NBA, like, that's why the NBA isn't in this article. Because it's like, some grunt editor whose job it isn't to do any editing live. He's not an instant replay editor. He's not a game day editor. You're tasked with going back and finding old archival footage and putting together highlight reels of famous games. So this is like a $25 an hour editor. And he's like, boss, I got this email about putting together a Michael Jordan 10 steal game, but there's only 6 steals. And it just goes up like that. So the NBA gets that call and goes, yeah, we know. Just cut the 6. What? What are we talking about?
But see, again, you're not going to change
Boomer idiots' opinions.
And that's what I was about to say. It's like I just pulled up the comments on YouTube, and the first comment, you're like, you guys have been, again, I bring it back to like, you've been brainwashed by like the fucking whatever people have been spoon feeding you in the media. It's the same thing as politics for all these fucking years. And you just go with it. And it's like, we live it this way. We already discussed it. We know some shit happened with his dad. We know Michael Jordan owed gamblers money. That's a fact. We know some shitty stuff went down. Whether his dad was whacked by owing gambling debts, I don't think we'll ever know.
Right.
But there's definitely, where there's smoke, there's fire, in my opinion. We know the retirement thing. It just doesn't add up to me. We know the Flugate game was bullshit. It was bullshit. It was total bullshit. We know all these things, but yet the first comment I'm seeing is, oh, Michael Jordan played through personal tragedy, played through you're just brainwashed. It doesn't mean Michael Jordan wasn't great. Dude, I loved MJ. Doesn't mean I didn't love watching him. I loved watching him. But this is a terrible look. It's fucking cheating. It's not only cheating, it's an elaborate.
Again, worse than cheating, in my opinion. Like, is it worse in terms of like what he did? But it's like more psychotic. It's more psychotic, dude. It's way more psychotic.
Well, you know what else it is to me?
Cheating is like kind of common.
Well,
here's psychotic.
You know what else I find interesting is that not only are you cheating, or not only is it psychotic, there's no team element here. You're taking away stats from your teammates and also not giving a fuck about the team winning, in my opinion. It's all about you in this situation.
It really doesn't even have any effect on the team winning or not. You're literally just working on something that has like no effect on the game whatsoever. No effect on the game at all. Doesn't help you win, doesn't help you lose, doesn't help you do anything. Nothing.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Cheating has an end game. I want to win. I want better. I want more. I mean, I guess you could say, oh, he's going to get paid more. He's going to get whatever. But like, I don't think that's what it's about. He was going to get the most. I don't think there was a point where Chicago was negotiating with him and they were like, oh, we'd give you $5 million more if you average a half a block more a game. This is psychotic. He might be a sociopath.
Well, I think a lot of great players are, to be honest. I believe that. I think people that excel at their profession, a lot of them are psychotic. They have that, whatever it is, in their system. But again, there's no one, I'll say it again, no quote unquote, and I know the term mainstream is kind of just, it's different now in 2024. No mainstream media is going to cover this.
No.
Stephen A. Smith's not going to, him and Mad Dog aren't going to be debating this. I'd be shocked.
No.
Nobody on NBA TV is going to be discussing this. No way.
Well, but also the reason that no one's going to be discussing this is because ESPN has a NBA contract.
Exactly.
NBA TV has an NBA contract. ABC has an NBA contract.
Yeah, what's that saying? Don't shit where you eat.
Yeah. Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Did I do that right?
Sure.
Because normally I don't get any sayings right.
Yeah. mean, it's not that effective in given this situation because
Yeah, you still did it wrong. That's what
yeah,
you're basically saying.
but it's okay. But you're close.
I'm trying. I'm like Jordan. I'm not paying somebody to feed me the lines. It's pretty wild. It is though. It's
I feel like, when you say, oh, mainstream media is not going to talk about it or whatever, I know for a fact that there are some people who are listening to our show like, okay, is this going to be the whole episode? I don't think you guys understand how psychotic this is. Dude, are you telling me you think we would just breeze through it if it turned out Cal Ripken had a twin who played half the games?
well, it's not even that. It's I mean, how can you not? It's a fascinating storyline. Like that's why if somebody said, "Hey, you guys are 50 minutes into your episode," it's just there's so many levels to this.
This is one of the greatest athletes
yeah
ever. Arguably one of the greatest team sports athletes
ever
to walk the earth.
Yeah, but that's why I
from
said
day one he was fraudulently manipulating his career legacy. From day one, fraudulently manipulating his career legacy. Actively manipulating. Actively.
I'm just trying to think of something else that could compare as far as athletes.
That's what I'm saying. It's more psychotic than cheating because cheating has an end game. The end game is Tom Brady deflated balls because he got a better grip on the balls and it helped him win. It helped him win.
Yeah.
That's why he did it. Tom Brady, even the shovel pass, even the a guy's coming across and you shovel that pass and it's essentially a run, but you get credit for a pass. You're still making that play. This is paying someone to say that you completed passes you did not complete. This is insane. It is either psychotic or sociopathic, one or the other. I honestly, I want to bring on a mental health specialist to talk about which one it is. I want to bring on a mental health specialist to talk about which one it is and what psychological issue Michael Jordan has based on this information and everything else we know about his career.
It's funny you say that. I think we got an email, no joke, about a sports psychologist. Yeah, we got an email.
Let's go.
I don't know if this person would fit the mold. We got an email. I'm not going to say their name. We got an email 10 days ago about a sports psychologist and therapist.
Book it. Book it.
Yeah, but she covers other things.
Yeah, but also she's a psychologist, so she could probably speak on it. I'd be like, cool. Sports psychology. Michael Jordan was throughout from the beginning of his career to the end of his career, lying about illnesses, lying about multiple retirements, paying people to adjust his stats, all so he looked better. Not so he could win. Not so he could win. Not so he could win. Michael Jordan did not pretend to have the flu so he could win.
You know what I find fascinating about Michael Jordan is that he literally was just like right before the social media age. So it's like, I think things just play out differently. I mean, you can say that for all these guys, and I understand that, but it is fascinating to me if Jordan was in the technological age that we have now. Even in this article, I believe, again, it's a long article. Let me scroll through here. I believe, yeah. He could only find 6 full games. That's insane to me.
And had to get it through a Latvian NBA video
Yes.
fucking
Yes.
like drug dealer, essentially.
So
There's some
Jordan's
true lie shit where they're like, we need to get this from a Russian arms dealer. There's a Latvian NBA video dealer.
So you guys are telling me, think about this right now. Everybody listening needs to think about this. An 82 game season. It wasn't that long ago. I mean, 87, 88. Like it wasn't. This isn't black and white TV. You're telling me there's only 6 games available out of the 82 games? You don't think that's bizarre?
And those 6 games are hyper incriminating.
It's the same way I say, wait, there's no video of the plane going into the Pentagon. There's nothing.
I've said that. I've said that since September 12th, 2001.
There's not a single video. Am I correct in this?
Correct. Well, there's
not a
video, but you don't actually see the plane hit. There's
That's
video.
my point.
Yeah, the video, the one angle that would have got it glitched out when it struck.
That's convenient.
Yeah.
There's not a single video of a plane going into the Pentagon on 9/11. Dude, it's this.
Also, there's not a single video of the plane going down in Pennsylvania.
And to me, it's the same stuff. It's something ain't adding up. Whatever you want to decipher from all
What's
that.
really crazy is on the plane to Michael Jordan's 10 steal game, he left his family from 10,000 feet a voicemail saying, I'm going to get 10 steals tonight. Let's roll. That's what's crazy.
Are you talking about the people calling their family members?
Like multiple.
I know.
From 10,000 feet. Let's ride. Whatever the fuck it is.
There's 6 games. There's 6 games. Why is the NBA going JFK conspiracy theory here on a fucking defensive player of the year? It's just so bizarre. And again, I want to see, nobody will do it. I want to see the documentary on this. I want to see a full-fledged documentary.
God, it's too bad that there's things you can and can't say on like iTunes and Spotify and whatever in your captions, because I want to call this episode Michael Jordan's a fucking liar. But instead, we're going to call it Michael Jordan's a sociopathic fraud.
But here's the thing: he's one of the greatest players of all time. So he's not
a fraud.
Yeah,
he's a fraud.
Okay. Both can exist.
A fraud is someone who commits fraud. He's a fraud. He committed fraud. He defrauded the NBA. He defrauded fans.
I mean, the Michael, just this isn't just if we're baking, it's like a cake. Jordan's career is fascinating. It's like a fucking wedding cake.
Can you imagine if
there's so many layers?
Can you imagine if it came out LeBron James was Venmoing guys 5 figures to tell people he read the books? To tell people you guys, just because he's always on page 1? I watched him read it. He read a whole book to me. In fact, here's a video from the LeBron read a book to me night. How come in the video he only reads you the first page? You shut up. You shut your mouth.
I'm now getting to the point with the Jordan life. The off the court stuff to me is literally just as appealing, if not more. Again, from this whole scandal of cooked stats to whatever happened to his dad, to the quote unquote retirement the first time, to the baseball. It's like there's so much. I'm like, what really happened?
Imagine
really happened?
Dude, how about this? Imagine that they were able to cook the books on games that are happening on television in a major market some of them nationally televised. I am ready to say that Michael Jordan had less than 6 hits as a member of the Birmingham Barons. Like minor league baseball in Alabama, minor league baseball video in Alabama in the fucking 90s.
Mid-90s. Yeah.
Every hit that you have seen on video from Michael Jordan's minor league career are all his hits. Honestly, Andy, pull up a Michael Jordan hit compilation. That's them. That's all of them. If there's 12 hits, those are the 12 hits he had. Dude, he was defrauding NBA box scores.
It's again, it's insane if you think about it. It's insane, guys. I know we're spending all this time, but like, it's just, it's pretty wild, bro. There's so few hits. I literally put in Michael Jordan baseball hit compilation, and it's like the same videos on TikTok and on YouTube. I mean,
did Michael Jordan have 10 minor league hits? This is a serious question.
I mean, this thing.
I can picture the ones I've seen. On most games, oh yeah, no video from today. He went 2 for 4. They played in Albuquerque. He had his 1 3-hit game of the year. Did he? Did he? Dude, he was lying about games that happened on fucking Sports Channel Chicago.
NBA and NBC. National TV, Sunday.
Did Michael Jordan ever play minor league baseball? That's where I'm at now. Do you ever notice we don't have like up close because every minor league camera then was just like from the top of the stadium?
So you know what it's the equivalent of? This is actually funny, the timing. I was going through some stuff, some of my old stuff, and for some reason, probably because I shared a room with my one brother, I had his stat book for his 1992 high school football team. I just briefly looked at it, and I was sending some screenshots, and I was like, "Wait a second, dude. Your leading tackler in 14 games had 200 tackles." And then they had all these guys with like 150 or more tackles. And we were joking like amongst brothers, we go, dude, their stat pad, like this doesn't make sense. They're crediting like 4 guys on 1 tackle. Like it's the exact same thing. And I'm like again, which is funny because this is not that far off from the Jordan season, 1992. And I'm like, well, there's no video footage.
Yeah. We just
have stats that claim the team leader had 200 tackles. None of this adds up.
I'm going to ask you a serious question, Andy. In Michael Jordan's 1 year for the Birmingham Barons, he had 88 hits.
How many at bats?
436 at bats. He hit 202. Hold on, Andy.
How many games?
He hit 202. He didn't hit 199. He hit 198. He hit 202.
How many games did Jordan play? Allegedly.
I mean, 100, probably like 127 games. How many minor league hits did Michael Jordan have? In your opinion, realistically, if I give you a 5-hit window, where are you setting it at? 56?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say 60. He hit 202. He's right at that number. He's right at 200 for the year. but over. You know why? Because if he hits, do you know what the difference in 497 plate appearances or 468 plate appearances to go up 3 points is? Do you know how much different it is for the whole world to say Michael Jordan's hitting 197 and you're still letting him play 127 games? Who else in baseball is hitting 100 and fucking 197? He's hitting 202. I'd love to see if he got fucking 19 hits in his last 8 games or some shit.
Go through the game film. I'm sure it's there. Good luck.
Dude. Michael Jordan has every video of his Defensive Player of the Year and all of his minor league things. He had them all in a room and he lit them on fire like the Joker did that pile of money.
And he's never going to comment on this stuff ever. Ever. I you know what else I've come to the conclusion on too, especially with the athletes, and then also I think maybe in particular the NBA. They all defend their own. It's very like police-like. It's very union-like. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're not going to get a quote unquote outspoken Charles Barkley talking about this.
Charles Barkley said one not even bad thing about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan hasn't talked to him for 20 years or something.
That's what I was just about to say. Michael Jordan and him haven't talked for God knows how many years. You're not going to get a guy on NBA on TNT to be like, yeah, dude, fucking this shit is it's accurate. Its stats were padded for MJ. Because they're all protecting their own. It's wild, man. It's absolutely wild. Let's do a couple calls.
Okay.
310-359-8365. We'll end on a couple calls. It's a late night here, and you know we did hour plus on Michael Jordan, but hey, it had to be done. All right, we'll start with this. Actually, this is perfect because it's about somebody who's from Chicago.
Hey boys, Brian Heinrich calling in again, and I was wondering, like, what city/area like loves their athletes the most? Like, what city stands and supports their athletes better than all the rest? I mean, I'd say Chicago might love their guys the best. I admit I am biased because I'm from around here, but truly, like, I feel like we don't really care how long someone was on our team, how well they were. Like, as long as they weren't a disaster, they're like beloved as much as if they were a Hall of Famer. Like, the Caruso trade, like, made me think of this because, like, we fucking love Caruso, like, more than fucking LA did, I think. And, like, you want a ring there. He was there for, like, 3 seasons, wasn't a superstar, but, like, he's goated. He ain't buying a drink in Chicago. Like, I know New York is going to be up there, too, with their love. Like, I'll have to see what Prano thinks. Like, however, unless I'm mistaken, I don't really think you guys treated Manning as nice as you should have. Like, I feel like a lot of Bears fans love Cutler more than a lot of New York fans loved Eli. And I'm not asking if, like, it's the love is justified or not. So, like, you know, the mellow Knicks fans would only help New York in this case. Like, I don't know, like Green Bay maybe. But again, like, they only give a fuck about the Packers up there. Like, they're all Cubs fans. They don't like the fucking Brewers. They don't like the Bucks. They don't care. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Condoms are for Packer Cubs fans. Kill yourselves. Go support the Brewers.
I didn't know. Is that the thing?
I don't know.
Packers, Cubs fans?
Chicago's probably a pretty good call.
It's top 3 for sure.
Like, Boston, I feel like is up there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like
St. Louis only has 2 teams, and can't speak for the Blues. They're real good with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Like, they love dudes who played there.
New York is not. New York's so fickle. The second you turn, the second that you're not good, they turn on you. The Melo is a terrible example because that's just being stupid and not know. That's precisely why Michael Jordan pads his stats, because some people just look at box scores. So, but like, if you have Eli Manning is a great example. Like, they're ready to throw him under the bus because the team isn't winning, when all of a sudden the fucking rest of the team is shit. It's like New York will turn on you. They won't turn on you as fast as Philly. Philly will spit on your children, shit in your mouth, throw batteries at you because you go 0 for 1 game after winning a fucking World Series MVP or some shit like that. But like the bottom of that list is Philly. I would have said New Orleans was up there. They really fucking hated on Derek Carr this year. I've never seen so many people. There was like dead Carr, Mardi Gras floats and shit like that. I'm like, God damn. After all your brain deadedness and about how good Drew Brees was, you guys were really quick to throw everybody else under the bus. I think Boston's up there. Chicago, I could see Chicago. I wonder if that's across the board for Chicago. But I like that call. I like the Chicago call.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Buffalo for the Bills.
I mean, Ben Roethlisberger raped somebody and they're still wearing his jersey, so Pittsburgh's got to be up there. I mean, like he's a serial rapist.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other cities that just like love their players. It's tough now because homerism is just
rampant.
It's just out of control.
Yeah.
Like what happened? What happened to the jaded sports fan?
Weirdly, LA is kind of on that list. They just don't care enough, but they like LA will dumbly support some people. What it comes down to is and obviously the Bears haven't won shit since 85. The Bulls haven't won shit since Jordan. The Cubs have won World Series in over a century. So it is the lovable losers thing where it feels like Chicago isn't really judging you on your wins and losses. LA's certainly not judging you on your wins and losses because no one gives enough of a fuck. Like real passionate, crazy passionate fan bases will start hating you if the team does bad. But Boston's like kind of good and supportive. Like I feel like once you're a Celtic or whatever, they like love you. And once you're a Patriot, they like love you. I'm sure there's guys they've thrown under the bus.
Unless you're black.
Right, exactly. Then they like you, but they're like, I mean, they'll say like he's good for it. And then you're like, don't say that word. Yeah. Chicago, I think, is a good, really, really good call. I think. Shout out to the caller for once. For once,
it is true. It is true about the Jay Cutler thing, man. Those fuckers had his back, which was wild.
Although, remember when fucking Mac from Miami also had Jay Cutler's back, and Miami has Tua's back? So is Miami just terrible at like evaluating quarterbacks, or are they super support? Or Miami Dolphins fans super supportive too?
I don't think anybody support. I refuse to put any Miami teams supportive.
Yeah. But but I guess the question isn't really about support, right? But I guess it is too. I like Chicago, St. Louis, Boston, Pittsburgh. That feels kind of fair.
I can bet Milwaukee has supportive fans.
Sure. But also they were quick. They turned on Aaron Rodgers. They turned on Favre a little bit. Like they were to the point where they were like, all right, we're done. Like Aaron Rodgers was kind of like an egomaniac and like lied about some shit, had some terrible takes. And they were like, all right, let's move on to Jordan Love. Ben Roethlisberger raped multiple people, and Pittsburgh's like, yeah, that's my man. That's my man.
But again, he was in a weird. It's same with Kobe. It was like if you were involved with rape or sexual assault in the early 2000s, nobody cared. Even when Me Too hit, because it already happened. Right? It was just weird. Like you had this weird immunity from it. None of it made sense ever. I mean, do you remember the tributes on Ben Roethlisberger's like final game? I think maybe like, and I could be wrong. I feel like only Pat McAfee's the only one who's like, well, that, I do got to
Yeah.
touch on this. There were some things we got to touch on. Okay, here's a call, a baseball call, and he didn't think I was going to play it.
All right, let's go. Little did you know, we didn't have anything else to talk about.
You call me out, I'm going to play it. It's a feel-good story call.
Yo, Dirty Sports, what's going on? It's KT here. I'm calling with a sick baseball story here. So, quick little background on the story. There's this guy named Spencer Bivens. I went to Penn State. He went to Penn State. We both transferred there from junior colleges our junior year and tried to walk on the Penn State team. We both successfully made it on, fall semester, and we both sadly got cut before the spring season happened. However, he got cut because he failed a marijuana test. I strongly encourage you to go look at his baseball reference, because this guy 2 years later transferred to a D2 college in 2017, played in France a little bit, basically like no shot to play professional baseball. If you look at his baseball reference from 2017 to this, or let's say 2019 to this year, 2 years ago he got called up in the single A from the Giants. He got signed with them and everything. And yesterday he made his major league debut.
Wow.
He went from throwing probably mid-80s in college and somehow was able to get up to almost 97, 98, and he got called up. It's straight up like Dennis Quaid movie, The Rookie, right now, and it's definitely a feel-good story. He's about to turn 30 years old. This really never happens. So definitely encourage you to take a look at that. I'm sure, Ruther, you're not going to even play this call because, you have a vendetta against any baseball talk on the Dirty Sports podcast, but have a good day, boys. Hopefully you get a chance to look at that, because this happened literally yesterday.
I have a vendetta.
I'm not going to look up his stats because you didn't tell us his name.
Spencer Bivens.
Oh, he did tell us his name. He did say that in there. My bad. I remember that now that you said it. Now I feel like a real dickhead. Can we go back and erase it so that he didn't say his name? That would be what Michael Jordan would do to protect his legacy.
I'm looking at his baseball page.
Now that I have his name, I am looking at his baseball reference page, and the one thing that is suspect is he had 200 tackles in his high school football career in one season. That's sus. Now the whole thing's suspect. 200 tackles his junior year of high school and 14 blocks a game for the basketball team at home. I don't know.
Spencer looks like somebody who would sell you some good weed in Venice Beach. Doesn't he?
I don't know. I'm pulling it up right now. Oh my God. Yeah, he does.
Right? But wait, why do you think I don't have a
Spencer Bivens does not look like somebody who'd sell you good weed in Venice Beach. Spencer Bivens looks like a guy who visits Venice Beach on the tourist thing, and he's like, you know where I can get good weed? And we're like, yeah.
True. I like I said, I had a vendetta against baseball.
Now, was he saying you had a vendetta against baseball or against feel-good stories?
I've been against baseball. I don't have a vendetta against it. But let me put it this way. Dude, baseball, look, the Red Sox were in town here. I didn't even give a fuck. I'm just saying, like you'd think in the past I would care. I looked at the attendance. The Reds didn't sell out a single game against the fucking Red Sox. Not that the Red Sox are like amazing this year, but still Boston Red Sox. They don't come to Cincinnati that often. They didn't sell out a single game. Baseball has a problem. You want to be the commissioner? Let me, the guy who runs their social media. Problem solved. You know things that are helping? Bryce Harper doing the fucking Hawk Tui. Like, that helps.
Yeah.
Push that shit. It's a trend. Push it.
Isn't Hawk Tui a System of the Down song?
That's a good line.
Ruther goes Hawk Tui.
Oh man.
Is that all our calls?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I'll be honest. I'm also like,
You're done.
it's 11:35.
Yeah, I got you, dude. Thank you for doing it this late. I'm glad I only put one thing on the rundown, or else we would be you'd be up super late.
Yeah. Well, I just was like, look, we got things are coming.
Let me ask you something. This is like a legit. I mean, I think I for sure know the answer. You think this is the first Dirty Sports in over 1,000, however many episodes, where the only topics we talked about were things I put on the rundown? Gotta be. It's gotta be the only one.
Or I'll counter with like no guided NFL talk.
Oh, no NFL talk at all, too. Yeah.
Like
wow.
none. So, I mean, again, I've made it known how much I love the NFL. I've also made it known that, like, okay, I need a break. Like you guys who are on your Reddit pages or on your, you guys are like, yeah, look at that 7-on-7 pass.
And is this your break? This one episode's your break? We talked about the NFL last episode, and we will talk about next episode.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm sure stuff will pop up. But I just am like, look at it this way. I've been enjoying like pool days.
Oh, pool days.
Back to back.
This pool is at your in-laws' house?
Yeah, and then my little brother's today. I'm just saying.
No, we're not public pooling at all.
No, I've done that like where we live in our neighborhood. There's a pool.
You have a
HOA
community pool. HOA pool.
And they also there's also a tennis court and a little basketball hoop there, and they just repaved everything, and they added
pickleball.
They added a pickleball net and pickleball lines on the tennis court.
People freaking out.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm gonna buy a pickleball set.
Do it.
I don't know how to play. How do you score?
It's pretty easy. I've never played, but I'm sure it's easy.
I need some, like, and I'm cool with some dudes in the neighborhood. I need a dude who's like, hey, let's just pop up. People who are like me, who are like more available. Hey, let's pop up and play some games, man.
If you're in the greater Cincinnati area and want to play pickleball with Andy Ruther, call us 310-859-8365.
And they added a 3-point line to the
I say 310-359-8365.
So I'm gonna work on my jump shot. Not they had that 3-point line. I'm gonna get Isla started young. Right.
Isla, with her inner ear problems, will never be an athlete. She's gonna have some fucking vertigo.
She's the whitest kid ever, dude. She tries to jump. She doesn't even lift her feet up. I'm like, God damn, you got that white gene. Like, she doesn't even like lift her foot off the ground when she's trying to jump. I'm like, I know you're one, but I think you're just not going to be an athlete. All right. What else you got, Joe?
I got some shows coming up. I will be I'll be in Ventura this weekend, just up the road from where I live. There's a new comedy club, JR's Comedy Club, in Ventura. I'm doing that this coming Saturday, headlining, June 29th. So that's on my website at joeprano.com. Or go to @JoePrano, where you can go to my link tree and see that I'll be in Eugene, Oregon, Friday, July 11th. I'll be in Poughkeepsie, New York. Eugene, Oregon, Thursday, July 11th. Poughkeepsie, New York, Friday, July 19th. Yonkers, New York, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, July 26th, 27th, 28th. And then the second week of August, I'll be at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club in Las Vegas. All those and more, joeprano.com, or follow me on socials at Joe Prano, except for Twitter, where I remain at Fix Your Life.
Word. All right, guys, that's our show. much thanks to everybody. We'll be back on Thursday. Have a great start to your week. And as always, stay dirty.